Do you hate ads? I hate ads.
Hello. Do you love ads? Because I love ads. You know what else I love? Patreon.com/inkdependence keeps this going. Hi everyone, this is Audrey for my yearly Inkvent calendar unboxing spoiler video for 2025, also known as the Teal Edition. I did my nails just for this. The color I'm using is Zoya Beckett. So if you want to match your Inkvent calendar, I went through all my nail polishes to find the one that matches the best, and I found this one to work. So this year's Inkvent, again, is the teal edition. I should have mentioned, I just found out last year that the last 25th bottle is basically the color of the box. I found that out last year. It took me since 2021 to realize that this is the color of the largest bottle. Anyway, this year we are very thankful to have Truphae provide this ink box or Inkvent to us. And as you can see, there are 25 different boxes and different. I have not opened them yet. I'm going to let Mike do that when he does his spoiler video. But behind each of these is going to be a 12 milliliter plastic bottle, and I'll show you those in just a minute. And thankfully, on the very last day, on the 25th day, is going to be 1 full ounce bottle. So this is actually retailing for $120 at Truphae. You can find them at truphaeinc.com. Hopefully Mike will go ahead and do a little pop-up here to show you that's where we got it. We actually got to go to Truphae, I think back in July, where we got to see Chris, who's the owner of Truphae, and also Carrie, who works there. And he did a nice tour around Truphae, which is in Greenville, South Carolina. So if you haven't watched that video, I'm going to have Mike go ahead and put a link down to that so you can actually see the store in person. And it's really nice. If you're in the area, definitely stop by Truphae Inc. And thanks again for providing this for us. So yeah, some other information that they tell us early on. These are going to have standard inks, sheen and extreme sheen, shimmer and shimmer sheen, scented inks, boo, sorry, chameleon effects or chameleon shimmer, pigment-based inks. So that's the new one for this year. So this past year, Diamine has come out with their Forever inks, which are pigment-based. So those are going to be good for waterproofness, etc. So that's the first time. That's something new we're going to have this year. And not only going to have pigment-based, we're going to have pigment with shimmer and chameleon formulas with the pigment as well. What are those going to look like? We'll have to see, but I am super excited. If you have any questions about this, please go ahead and go down in the comments. Ask some questions. We'll be around to answer them. Again, I'm not a usual one to do this, but this Inkvent calendar, I made my look it up. It's been since 2019 that these have been available. Every year is a different color. I've been doing these spoiler videos since 2021. For some reason, it felt longer, but also not in a way. But if you've been sticking around since 2021 watching these videos, thank you so much for stopping by. If you stop by our live streams on Friday, that's where you'll be able to see me. I'm Audrey, Mike's wife, and I also work for Franklin-Christoph. So if you get anything there, that's me. So if you're looking for Mike, he'll be in the next one, and he'll be doing all of these unboxings for each day starting December 1st, which is going to be day 1 through 25. So that's enough talking. Shall we go ahead and get started on these? Yay. Day number 1. We have, these are so shiny. Every year, I sit there and I can't even read what this is saying. That's going to happen again. My apologies. I'm going to do my best to read these. Number 1 is Celestial Skies, which is a shimmer formula. It looks like it has like a greenish, goldish color here. So that's nice. And it looks like this. I'll try and do my best to describe how it looks in person. You know how monitors can be and lighting. So I will do everything I can to describe it how I see it in person. So This is a nice sort of blue that leans on the teal side. They don't call it a sheen, but there's definite sheen when I have lots of ink thrown down here. But yeah, it looks more just like regular gold shimmer in this one. But it is super pretty. Lots of nice sheen in here and shimmer. But not too much sheen where you're going to sit there and go, is this going to have hard starts or get some crud on there? I don't think you're going to have an issue with this likely. Day number 2, we have energy what? And we got a sheen. That's to show that this is not, come on. There we go. It's not an extreme sheen, which we will, spoiler, be seeing later on here. But it looks like this is going to be a purpley color. This is a nice sort of bright grape sort of color. Nice green sheen on here. Again, it's not too much. It is not, I wouldn't say it's an extreme sheen. In the writing, you can still see some of the purple in the background. So you often will see green goes along with a lot of sheening purple inks. So there we go. Day number 2. Moving right along, we have our very first pigmented ink. So this is a very nice bright red, very holiday bright color. Again, since it's pigmented, you're not really going to get any shading or anything like that. This did stick to my dip nib quite a bit, so you definitely just have to do a nice cleansing of the feed and the nib when you're done with this, because it can clog because it is a pigment. But it's very nice holiday sort of red color, really nice. Day number 4, the day we all maybe it's just me, is smoky tobacco. As you can imagine, this is actually our scented ink for this one. But before we say what the scent smells like, to me, again, everyone smells things differently. Everyone perceives, tastes, and smells everything differently. But this is a nice standard sort of bourbon barrel sort of brown color. Really nice medium. You get a little bit of shading on here. When it went down super wet up here, this is the problem. It came down very wet in the beginning, and that's what you sort of get sometimes with these scented inks. They become really wet and feathery and bleed through. So this makes me not happy. Like, it might happen with this one. We'll have to see when we actually put it on the paper in an actual nib. But I don't know. In terms of the scent, I'm not going to lie. I don't love this one. I had Mike smell it. Again, I didn't sit there and try and spoil it for him, but I did want to see what he thought. It seems a little stronger than the ones in years past, personally. It smells like men's cologne. That's like the easiest. He said that you could sort of, when I told him it was tobacco scented, he said, oh yeah, I could smell that. And again, a lot of men's colognes do have a tobacco or leather scent to it. I sort of thought leather when I first smelled it, which I know might sound weird, but it sort of has that sort of like bitterness in the beginning. So I don't personally love this one. Mike said he did like it, so I don't know. That's spoiler alert. Thank you. This is the only scented one in the bunch. So instead of having 2 like we've had all other years, I think pretty much all other years that I've been doing it, it's only 1 this year. So thank you to Diamine for at least moving it down to 1. I feel like I'm being a hater. I shouldn't be a hater. You know, it's just something that I haven't liked, and I know other people have had issues. I'd rather have a regular standard ink that performs really well compared to having one that's scented but doesn't perform quite like I like it. Up next, we have Marie Rose, which is a standard. I should have looked this up. I don't know what Marie Rose is supposed to reference. If you're from the UK, maybe this means something to you. Please go down in the comments and tell me, who is Marie Rose, or what does this have to do with? Yeah, I'm not sure. And this is what Marie Rose looks like. This is a really interesting color. It reminds me of butterscotch, if that makes sense. So he got a little bit of You get a little bit of shading here, not too much, but it's a really interesting, almost like a mustardy looking one. I think it's really unique. I'm curious. I think Mike will really like this color because he likes those sort of yellow ochre-y sort of ones. So yeah, this one's pretty unique. At least, I mean, I like it, but I could see it being one of those ones where people are like, ooh, that looks really weird. But it definitely has a little bit of a tinge of like pinky slash red in here as well. Moving on to day number 6, going fast. Up next we have Fur and Fog, and this one is our first chameleon of the one. So chameleon, basically it's going to have a really strong shimmer to it. It's often will have a dual color to it, so it will sort of have two different colors based on how you move the paper. So this is what Fur and Fog looks like. I mean, it's an interesting name for it, and it really fits because this is a really cool or blue-toned green color, but it also has that sort of fogginess to it. I totally know what they mean. But it looks like it has green to... It looks silver, and depending on the angle. So I see some blue, some green, and a little bit of silver. It's hard to show in camera, but in person you definitely see some differences based on your angle here. But I like this one a lot more than it's sort of a dusky sort of green, which, you know, that's sort of my vibe. So day number 6, I enjoyed that one. Continuing, we have day 7, which is Blush, which is a standard. So thankfully we are getting some standard. That's the thing. You want to have a good mix of things, but there are some people who don't want shimmer or chameleons or anything like that. So I'm glad that they're still including as many standards as they can. And here is this one. So in person, this one is a bit different. It is definitely more muted and it's more on the beige side. And so it's not as bright red. It has a little bit more... yeah, sort of a mauve-y tone than I'm getting the bright red here. But you can see this has really nice shading here, but it's really interesting. But you can definitely see there's hints of yellow in here as well. Super weird. I think I'll be interested to see what kind of inks Mike has that looks like these. And Blush is sort of an interesting name for it too. So you can see, it reminds me of somebody who's been outside for a really long time. They come inside and they have the rosy cheeks. It definitely looks like that. Day number 8, we have Dreamcatcher, which is, we got an extreme sheen. So let's see how quite sheeny this one is. That's a lot of sheen here. So this is a slightly deeper blue here. It's not one of those really, really bright blues that I can see. I know Colorburst has a few, Diamine has a few. It seems like a lot. There's a wide variety of blue pigments with this red sheen. So it looks like this is just a little bit deeper than some of the other ones that I've seen without being a blue-black. But let me see here. I put a lot of ink down here so you can see it really has them. Let's see if it smears at all. No, that one's not smearing at all, so that's great. Sometimes I worry about having that, but no. But that is, like right here, where's the blue? It's all red. But no, it's cool. I like it. But it might not be the most unique ink out of the bunch either. Day number 9. We have Bittersweet Symphony. Just kidding. Standard ink. Okay. This looks like it's going to be an interesting one. This one it's super bright. I don't know how to describe this one. It's sort of a brighter seafoam color. It is sort of has a mintiness, but it's a little brighter than some mints that I've seen. But I wouldn't say it's quite highlighter. I think you'd be able to read this nicely without having it. Some highlighter inks you've seen, you can't really have them in pens and read it well. But this one I think you definitely could. Interesting color to have for a holiday Inkvent. But there is a tinge of yellow down in here as well. Day number 10, we're flying along here. We have Nostalgia, which is a chameleon. I went out of order. How dare I? My apologies. Nostalgia with the chameleon. You can see there's definitely red. And it's, on my angle, there's definitely some gold. So it looks like it's a red to gold shift here. Now, here we go. This is an interesting color. It's definitely sort of brown, but there's also a bunch of purple in it as well. And that could be thrown off because you can see that chameleon shimmer here. You can see it's sort of that bright color. And there's also, on my angle, you can see sort of a bronzy gold. So it's sort of, I don't know how to describe, raisiny color is, I guess you could describe it. That's the best, yeah, that's probably the best way I could describe it. It's sort of a dried raisin color, but interesting nonetheless. Day 11. Brrr. Indeed. Not quite yet here, but it will be before you know it. We have our seconded pigmented. This is a pigmented shimmer. So I'm curious what this will look like because this is the first shimmer pigment I've ever actually seen in person. So we got a bright, fairly bright, but also a dusty blue color. Let's see if we can actually show the shimmer. So you can really see it right there. But it does get, it's a little subtle because, there it's showing a little bit better. It's a little bit more dispersed because of the pigment. I think the pigment is sort of more of a matte finish, of course. So the shimmer is sort of fighting with it, so it's not quite as in your face. Is this going to clog a pen or be problematic? Please stick back on the channel. Mike, I'm sure, will be putting these in pens and having them go through the rounds. But Diamine, I will say they have really good inks for a reasonable price. These, I should mention, will likely be available in full-size bottles. So if you're like, I don't want to buy the full Inkvent, I only want to buy the ones that I personally like, then you can do that likely, I mean, usually in the summer of the next year. So probably likely in summer 2026, you will be able to buy the ones that you like. But yeah, this one is a nice sort of icy sort of blue color with that shimmer. Day 12, we have a bubbly, which just looks, of course, going to think of champagne, New Year sort of thing with shimmer. And that looks like a nice bright gold. This is not chameleon, so it's not getting a duotone for it. And this is a really nice tan / beige, and you can see the shimmer here. Yeah, it just looks gold on this one. And despite being sort of a lighter toned, it looks like it's going to be dark enough to be able to read without having any issues. There might be a hint of pink in here as well, but not too much. And you're really not getting much shading on this one either. But yeah. Oop. Day 13, we have molten basalt, which is a type of rock. So interesting. And this one is a standard ink. Looks like it's going to be they say standard. There's a lot of red sheen here. It's actually not quite bright red, but it's more of a color sort of in between a red and a bronziness. I don't know how else to describe that, but it's definitely a really deep blue-black color. So depending on what ink or what pen you put on this, you might get some more sheen than you sort of expected based on a standard one. Day number 14, we have mittens, which is a pigmented one. Oh, that's interesting. I'm excited for this one. Very bright bubblegum pink color here. I don't know if I've ever seen a bright pink pigmented ink before, so this is new for me. It's bright, it's readable. I like pink. I want to fill this with a pen right now. Do you like it? Let me know in the comments. Day number 15. I just did it again. I'm so bad. I'm sorry. We got Frostbite, which is a shimmer, not chameleon. Looks like this one's going to be a silvery blue shimmer. And here we go. This is a nice sort of medium blue color. A tiny bit of red, a sheen in here, not too much. It's only because I put a lot of ink down there. And it looks like it's actually sort of a rose gold / coppery shimmer. So that's an interesting combo. Usually with a blue like this, often it's sort of a silver color that goes with the shimmer that goes with that blue tone. But well, that's sort of an interesting combo. Day number 16, we have Ruby Taffeta. If you don't know what taffeta, it's a type of a fabric. So that's interesting. I don't really think of taffeta as something as a holiday thing, but I guess you could wear a taffeta dress out of it. And this is a chameleon. Definitely some gold or bronze to red, it looks like, in there. So let's go ahead and see what that actually looks like here. Very pigmented. It's a little darker in person, so it's a little bit more muted and not quite as bright. There is a little bit of sheen on here. It's sort of a brown bronze sort of color. The shimmer, it's really hard to tell, but I definitely think it has sort of a bronzy gold shimmer on there. But it doesn't congregate. It really is well dispersed without really pooling up too much, even on the writing. It looks like there's a little bit of green as well. Day 17 is Gala or Gala. This is a standard. And this is a really bright one. It's sort of a multi-chrome. There's definitely hints of pink, especially when I first put it down. I could really see the pink starting to come through. This looks like a lilac color of purple. It does look saturated enough that I think it will be okay even in writing, but it's unexpected. I remember, was it last year? There was one that was, I feel like it was a similar vibe. It was Jacaranda. It was a definite purple. I think that might have been it, but this is super pretty. Do I think of this as holiday? Not necessarily, but you know, doesn't matter. You got to come up with new colors every year, so that's a lot of them. But yeah, super nice. Day number 18, we have Laurel, which likely is going to be this nice green. This another extreme sheen here. This is a nice deep sort of evergreen base. You can see it back here. Lots and lots of red sheen, obviously, especially over. It's quite opaque here. So you gotta like your sheen. Let's see if this one rubs it all. Nope, no issues with it rubbing off or anything, so it dries nicely. But, yep, nice dark green. Mostly red. Day 19, we have Overcast, which is another standard. So here's another sort of multi-chrome situation. It's a very light blue that leans green a bit, sort of a turquoise color. There's hints of pink in here, a little bit of beige as well. Fairly light, but I think it will be readable. But this reminds me a little bit more of some of the colors from the color event last year for Colorverse. They had a few that were sort of this multi-chrome sort of situation. So there you go. Nice contrast to the last one, which was that extreme sheen, right? Next up, we have Ambiance, which is another chameleon. Looks like it's a pink to gold shift. So here we go. Definitely some pink shimmer here. I see definitely gold from my angle. This is really bright. I would say it's a coral color, a bright coral. It reminds me a little bit, just thinking of last year's Inkvent again, maybe Fruit Punch is sort of a similar vibe, but that was a scented one. So again, we'll have to go back and compare and contrast how those are, but that's just one that reminds me of that one a little bit. Day 21. We have Chaos, which is another extreme sheen. We had several extreme sheens this year, huh? Here we go. This is a very dark one. It looks like it's, again, one of those dark ones. It's hard to tell because there's so much green sheen on it. It's slightly brown with maybe a hint of purple. It's really hard to tell. I probably need to pull this out a little bit more to really tell exactly what the base color is, but it definitely is a dark eggplant sort of coloration, I think. Yeah. These also, the extreme sheen ones do not want to swatch very well, so they really stick to the letter opener, so those are really hard to swatch, so I try my best to get them spread out as much as possible. Day number 22, we have Pineapple Spritz. Ooh, another drink inspired one. Pigment Chameleon. This is our first, I think the first pigmented chameleon. This is definitely gold, a little bit of pink in here, I believe. And that's what this looks like. This is very bright. This is going to be a readable one for sure. Again, you get the pigment that sort of subdues the shimmer a little bit, so you can see the little bit of a matte finish in the middle, but you can see the little spots in the background. The shimmer sort of pops through. I mean, this is a nice one. It's very, very vibrant, and it's something I haven't seen before with the chameleon shimmer, so good on them for trying something different. Day 23, we have Let It Snow. I mean, I like only snow on Christmas. Otherwise, I don't love snow personally. If you do, I hope it snows where you live. We got another chameleon. This one is silver, blue, and maybe a little bit of hints of pink there on the extreme angles. Very bright, sort of, what would you say? Maybe an aquamarine color? Let's see, the shimmer is definitely blue, but it's sort of not as shimmery as some of the other ones. But yeah, it looks like it's mostly blue that I can tell from my angle here. But yeah, very nice. And we're almost done. We are at day 24, Christmas Eve. If you celebrate, we got Antler. Oh, okay. Another pigmented. And this is really fun. This is a really deep color. It reminds me of a deep version of Mike's Trusted Bivalve, but obviously pigmented, so not exactly the same. But it's a nice sort of nutmeggy brown color. Definitely makes me think of antlers, or at least certain parts of antlers. But yeah, really nice. Nice sort of cool toned brown. And finally, the last day, the full 1 ounce bottle that we got here. They used to not label what kind it was, but this year they did. This one is Myrrh the Merrier. The Myrrh the Merrier. Very cute. This is a shimmer and sheen. It's got blue shimmer for sure, maybe a little bit of silver. And that's what this looks like here. It goes somewhat with my nails. As you can see on the corners, it's definitely a deep teal that goes with the box here. Let's see how those compare. I mean, it's a little bit darker potentially, but there's definitely the vibes there for sure. Lots of red sheen. The blue shimmer's popping in here. Very nice though. Really like that one. And that's all. That's all, folks. Let's go ahead and do a little overview though. So here's all of what you'll be getting here. And I did a little numbers here to sort of show what you're getting. And this is to my eye. So we have 6 standard, 3 just regular shimmer, 5 chameleon, 3 just regular pigmented, 1 pigmented and chameleon, 1 pigmented plus shimmer, 3 extreme sheen, 1 just regular sheen, 1 scented, and 1 shimmer plus sheen, which was the day 25, which we just did, which all adds up to the 25. And by my eye, I try to divide it up based on the colors, mostly blue. Like, I think that's how it is every year. You get like the highest number of blue just because, blue is probably one of the most commonly used inks. We got about 3 reds, 1 pink, which is that pigmented one that I really liked, and I can't wait to put in a pen. 1 yellow, which was that pineapple spritz we talked about. Some 5 brown taupe, so it's really blue, and taupe is really the biggest ones here. 3 green, 2 purple, 1 salmon, and 1 other that I was like, I don't really know exactly how to describe it because it was sort of hard to tell from the swatch and it sort of is ambiguous. But that equals all of the 25. Is this worth it? I mean, I do think that you're getting a lot based on the amount of time and effort went into bottling these mini bottles. Is it for you? That's for you to determine. Who is this best for? If you want to try new and different types of inks. So if you're just starting into the community and you're like, I don't have any pigmented or I don't have any shimmers or anything like that, I think this would be a good option for you to really expand in the different types of inks that are out there. And if you like sheens or if you like shimmers, and so you can just get it all out at one time with a brand that's really well known for inks such as Diamine. And you have to be a bit more adventurous is the other thing. If you are like, I only use, vintage expired or vintage safe inks. I'm not saying that these aren't vintage, you can't use vintage inks with these or vintage pens with these. I'm just saying that if you're just using the really classic inks like a Waterman, etc., then obviously this isn't going to be one that you're going to enjoy. The other one that is out there is, like I said, the Colorverse, the Inkvent. So they have their sets, and at least compared to last year, the Inkvent had way fewer shimmers and they were mostly standard. So if you're like, I'm really not into shimmers very much at all, or I'm really pigmented or anything like that, the Colorverse might be a better option for you. I know Mike has that in-house. He will be doing the Colorverse swatches as well. So if you want to see, are those going to work better for me, or is this one going to be a better option, you can make that decision for yourself. But this is definitely one of the more adventurous sets that you're going to get in terms of the different types. So with that, thank you so much for watching. If you can, tell a friend. If this is something you're interested in, please just go around and hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. I hope that you have a great holiday season. Thank you so much for being here and listening to me for this whole time. I really appreciate being able to see all of you on the Friday live streams. And if you haven't stopped by on Fridays if you can. So thank you so much again, and have a great one. Think about what you put out in the world. Make it a better place. Peace out.